Hello, my name is Father Patrick McDevitt, and I am the Provincial Superior for the Vincentian Fathers and Brothers in the Western Province in the United States. The Vincentians are also known as the Congregation of the Mission. And I'm addressing you today from our provincial office, which is just outside St. Louis, Missouri. I want to thank Sister Mary Paul and the Planning Committee for their invitation to address this talk with you today, which is entitled Vincentian Global Education. The Congregation of the Mission, the Vincentians, is a worldwide religious community inspired by the life and mission of St. Vincent DePaul. Our mission is to proclaim the good news of Jesus Christ through word, service, advocacy, education, and systemic change. Vincentians strive to assist people and communities to discover their own power and to help them develop the necessary skills to form coalitions and partnerships to build a more peaceful and just society for everyone. As we face future educational demands, it is more imperative today that Vincentian educators work internationally and work in solidarity to develop partnerships that strive for academic excellence. I have worked in higher education for some 30 years. And in my career, I was fortunate to have the opportunities to teach in the United States, in Ireland, and in Kenya, and most recently in Kenya. The experience of serving outside the United States provided me first-hand knowledge of both the similarities and the contrasts of different educational systems throughout the world. My experience of teaching in Kenya was among the most sobering for me. I taught a course at a local university in Nairobi, Kenya. I have taught this particular course for almost 20 years at DePaul University. The students in the Nairobi course were bright, engaged, friendly, and most eager to learn. However, the resources such as books, library resources, and other learning aids were not available. Moreover, the educational institution where I taught the course lacked structures, processes, and discipline for academic success. It was during this course that I saw vividly how my Kenyan students would not be competitive in the market and would be disadvantaged in a global economy. Given the lack of resources and structures, I too felt powerless and unable as an educator to give my students what they needed to succeed. As a Vincentian priest and an educator, my goals for education are what Father Tony Dosen outlines in his 2005 article in Catholic Education. One, that education should break the vicious cycle of poverty. Two, to educate first-generation college students to be economically competitive. And three, to instill in all students an affective and effective love for people who are poor. It was an experience in Kenya and teaching this course of truly being compromised as an educator and feeling powerless in the face of the poverty that I saw. We are living in a period of history where we're educating people for a global economy and a global reality is essential. It's not an option. The workers of today and tomorrow must have a global sensitivity and a global understanding of the economy of their profession. In October 2020, Pope Francis presented the, quote, Global Compact on Education. And in this presentation, Pope Francis stresses education as transformative and as something measured beyond standardized tests and measured beyond imparting facts and just developing skills. Instead, the Pope calls for an education that, quote, opens new horizons and creates a new universal culture that serves the whole world, end of quote. Pope Francis challenges educators to break the cycle of repetition and replacement in educational systems with a spirit of hospitality, solidarity, and the value for the transcendence. The Pope urges us to pay attention to the, and I quote, grave social injustices, violation of rights, terrible forms of poverty, and the waste of human lives, end of quote. I want to be really clear in this presentation. Besides the resources and infrastructure challenges in Kenya, the education culture in Kenya was rich. It was rich with a deep sense of community. It was rich with a great openness and appreciation for learning and a desire for learning. The education culture in Kenya is rich in culture, history, music, dance, and the arts. The richness of Kenya can help what is lacking in many schools and universities in the United States. The Vincentian family consists of the Vincentian fathers and brothers, daughters of charity, sisters of charity, and many other religious and lay communities that look to St. Vincent DePaul as their patron and source of their inspiration. There are many universities, colleges, seminaries, high schools, elementary schools throughout the world that are sponsored by some group within the Vincentian family. In 2005, Father Dosen states that Vincentian education is a collaborative effort. In recent years, I've had a problem with the concept of collaboration. In my mind, it has come to mean finding middle ground or finding common areas of interest to work together. And from my vantage point, collaboration does not necessarily bring change or necessitate change. In order to truly transform our educational systems and to make them more impactful and effective, we all need to be about change. And change is progress. Instead of collaboration, we need to be in an international solidarity with one another. For me, solidarity is about relationships. And relationships are always mutual and reciprocal if they're healthy relationships. Mutual and reciprocal. And such relationships are truly transformative when they are mutual and reciprocal. I believe this is the heart of Pope Francis's message on the Global Compact on Education. A Vincentian Education Solidarity Union could unite all Vincentian education institutions, from pre-K to the various levels of higher education. Such a solidarity union can provide partnerships, resources, international opportunities, and most importantly, pathways for students to achieve and advance in education. For example, a Vincentian high school in Perryville, Missouri, which is 70 miles south of St. Louis, can become more attractive and more marketable to students and to parents when the school is able to provide students a wide international experience, and that the school can provide easier pathways to our prominent Vincentian universities and colleges. This same attraction and marketability can be said for a Vincentian elementary school in Kamulu, Kenya. The Solidarity Union can open up connections, international possibilities, and again, pathways for students in Kamulu, in other Vincentian educational institutions, both in Kenya and throughout the world. I would like to suggest that we, the Vincentian family, look at the International Association of Jesuit Universities, the IAJU, as a model for a future Vincentian Education Solidarity Union. The IAJU is a network that facilitates collaboration within and among the Jesuit international conferences. The IAJU strives to link institutions for sharing resources, research, pedagogy, and to facilitate creative collaborations. It is one of IAJU's priorities to bring higher education to the marginalized and disadvantaged by providing access to education and degree programs. This is also a priority and an outcome for the Vincentian Mission, to bring the marginalized and disadvantaged access to these kinds of opportunities. It is my hope that DePaul University and the Vincentian Western Province in the United States can work together to create what I'm calling the Vincentian Education Solidarity Union, which will provide resources, networks, access, international experiences, and again, most importantly, clear pathways for students to advance and to achieve academic success. It is imperative that we, DePaul University and the Vincentian province of the West organize and develop the needed infrastructure and mechanisms for real education transformation. As Mahatma Gandhi said, quote, "Be the change you wish to see in the world," end of quote. I invite us to reflect upon the great international education possibilities that lie before us, and to look at the structures needed to deliver this ambitious vision for the Vincentian Global Education Union. What can you do to advance this vision? What can your school do to advance this vision? What can DePaul University do to advance this vision and to make it a reality? What can the Vincentian Western Province do to embody this vision and to bring it to reality? And most importantly, what can we do together to bring change and transformation for our students and for the communities we love and serve? Thank you for listening. God bless.